Did you guys hear the? And I know he came out about 2 months or 2 weeks ago, but did you hear the actual post from Michael Tellinger? Have you heard his words yet? Maybe I'll read it real quick because
Michael Tellinger himself, or he has a host on his show.
No, Michael Tellinger himself.
Okay.
Who is Michael Tellinger? It rings a bell.
He's a South African.
Oh, the skull guy, the big skulls guy.
No, he's more. He did do some Jeremiah Stitchin stuff. I think he wrote a book. Maybe it is about the skulls that he wrote.
Yeah.
But he's a politician and author. It seems like he's got a good following. He's got the whole Ubuntu movement, like the contributionism. He kind of is in charge of that. They didn't do very well in this year's election. I saw that they got like 0.1% of the vote in the election. And of course, they were running with the idea that they were going to get rid of government, have free electricity for everybody, they were going to have 100% jobs because they were going to get rid of the federal bank and do their own banking. And they got 0.1% of the vote. So obviously not what the people wanted. But,
well, that's obviously what needs to happen, but people just don't understand what's actually going on with the whole central banking thing. It's a shame, but yeah.
Yeah, and he's done some good research. I'm not a big fan of Jeremiah Stitchin just because, knowing that he's like the only one who has translated the tablets. Is
Zachariah Sitchin.
Yeah, what did I say? Sorry.
Yeah, no.
You said Jeremiah.
Yeah, just a minor correction.
Yeah, but I've never been a huge fan, but I do like Michael Tellinger, and now I like him a lot more. I'll just read this. He posted this on Facebook on 2 weeks ago, I think, to the day. And let me just read it so you can hear it, because I think it's huge. He says, after many months of research, I still cannot find any scientifically accepted proof of a physical nature, that the Earth is moving through space, and that it actually is a ball. Everything I held dear as an unshakable truth has been shaken to its core and stripped of all credibility. It is more clear than ever before that everything we have been told is a lie, and most important teachings have been strategically omitted from our education system, whose objective is to create a future labor force to keep the money monster alive, and not to teach us to think and give us real skills. The flat Earth could be the biggest lie of them all. Those who think this will just go away have a big surprise coming. We have to discard most of NASA's imagery as part of the lie, which is one of the first disturbing things everyone finds when entering this realm of research. My most recent research into the relationship between sound, magnetism, and electricity clearly shows that all the physical manifestations of shape and matter and the magnetic fields are the same toroidal shapes that are proposed from the subatomic model of the electron and the magnetic fields of the Earth, and even the model of the galaxies that seem to spew forth matter at its galactic equator of the gigantic torus-shaped galaxy. My breakthrough discovery is that the evidence suggests that the land or Earth itself follows this double torus model, and that the land in which we have been told is a ball is actually the flat accretion disk emerging at the center of the Earth's torus magnetic field. All north-south magnetic alignments and everything else that has been attributed to the ball Earth can be explained even better with a flat Earth model, like a giant ring magnet with all the expected magnetic fields around it and inside it. This also accounts for the so-called dome, the hollow Earth theory, Agartha, magnetic drift, precessional wobble, aurora borealis, and so many more global mysteries. Everything can be explained by simply reevaluating the magnetic fields around the Earth and the full shape they hold. For those that thought the flat Earth theory is a bunch of ignorant nonsense devised to confuse humanity and not worthy of debate, they have a growing scientific mountain of evidence to deal with. I look forward to seeing how this research evolves. As so many others have done, I have done my own experiments with the curvature of the Earth, and I found to my surprise that there is no curvature. No matter how hard I looked, and if there is no curvature, there's only one conclusion we can reach, that the Earth's surface is flat. If the weatherman can show Chicago from Michigan City some 40-odd miles across Lake Michigan, that should be enough
57.
Proof right
57.
Yeah, I thought it was almost 60. That should be enough proof right there that there is no curvature. At the distance, Chicago should be more than 1,000 feet below the horizon. And so this new exciting journey begins, sifting through the layers upon layers of deception and lies. The only thing that I have to hold my sanity is my sense of humor and my open mind, in unity and resonance, Michael Tellinger. So that was his post about 2 weeks ago. And somebody had Skyped me and said, hey, Michael Tellinger is on board with the flat Earth. And I said, oh, cool. But I didn't know he made a post like that.
That was awesome. Yeah, that was really well said. I couldn't have put it better myself. Very cool.
And for all the people that are, saying that we don't have evidence, that we, how are you going to deal with the southern stars? Well, how are you going to deal with the fact that there is no curvature? Which one is more important when we're talking about the place that we live, the land that we live on? Does it matter what's in the sky at all? Makes no difference.
And
So,
we have dealt with the southern stars, and we're going to deal with them again today, because
beautiful.
that's one of those FAQs that we always get. And also, I love his terminology. What was it? A giant accretion disk with the giant toroid around it. How was that phrased?
Oh, I just
something. That's okay.
No, it was a giant accretion disk with a toroidal. Where was it here? So he says let me start from here. My most recent research into the relationship between sound, magnetism, and electricity clearly shows that all the physical manifestations of shape and matter and the magnetic fields are the same toroidal shapes that are proposed for a subatomic model of the electron and the magnetic fields of the Earth, and even the model of the galaxies that seem to spew forth matter at its galactic equator of the gigantic torus-shaped galaxy.
Right,
so,
exactly.
About the Earth.
Yeah, well, how he described it, the giant accretion disk is akin to what I would call the dielectric inertial plane, and of course the giant toroidal magnetic field around the Earth. Where have I heard that before? I don't know. Well, anyway.
Yeah, he says the Earth itself follows this double torus model, and the land, which we have been told is a ball, is actually a flat accretion disk emerging at the center of the Earth-torus magnetic field.
Yep. So he's saying exactly, in different words, but exactly the same thing that we've been talking about on this show, because to me it's pretty apparent, and I agree with him 100%.
Now here's the sad part about it. If you go to his website, his logo is a globe.
Is a globe.
And he's got like shirts made. So I mean, for him to come out like that, I mean, that's the kind of person that I respect, because he could just say, "No, this is bullshit. It means my logo's got to go. It means my shirts have to go." And he's obviously looking for the truth,
Yep, absolutely. Awesome. So, okay, cool. So for those of you that were curious about the video that I just had playing in the background, that was brought to you courtesy of Dorje Daka, who is a wonderful flat earther. And if you're not subscribed to him, by all means, check his stuff out. I really like his work, and as always, whenever he comes up with something that's really good like this and a good visual, I'm more than happy to play it in the background, because the things that he pointed out here, once again, including scuba divers in the ISS, which I'm sure everybody has seen, but those are the kind of things that we definitely like to see. So, just wanted to bring that up to everybody as to who that was, and thank you very much for that, Dorje.
But still, the truth is what deserves to be said. And, what is the saying that the lie gets all the way around the world before the truth puts its pants on? And, unfortunately, we are barely getting our pants on, and it's going to be a while. So, yeah, and that's sad. But at the same time, I've seen the people that are waking up to it. It's not a lie. It's not oh, you guys are out of your mind. Oh, this is some nonsense. Tellinger said it perfectly. That for those people who think this is going away, keep thinking that. Keep thinking that we're just a bunch of idiots who are talking about the Earth being flat. Go ahead. I mean, you're going to be the ones at the wrong end of the stick eventually. It may not be this year, may not be next year, may not be 7 years from now. Eventually, you're going to realize that you contributed to the dumbing down of people, that you contributed to the continuation of the slavery that's going on. You contributed to the lie system because you refused to think, what if it is a lie? Because that's all it takes. That's all it takes. But you won't do it because I don't want to be called stupid. I don't want to be grouped with those flat earthers. Well, neither do we. I don't want to be a flat earther either. I want the globe to be true. I mean, I really do. I mean, that's what I was taught. It would make everything so much easier if we could go back to that whole idea. But it's false. I mean, that's the whole thing. Why would I ever think of a planet again? It's ridiculous that I remember sitting on my couch watching space documentaries, and there goes the little craft flying by Saturn, and look at the crazy rings on Saturn. It's such nonsense. How do we know how big Saturn is? Nobody knows. And then if the rings are orbiting rocks, they don't ever hit each other, because if one hit one, then they would all break up, and there'd be no more rings. And it's just nonsense that we've all bought into. It's really sad.
Yeah, it is. I saw a picture on Facebook the other day of Jupiter and a couple of its moons during broad daylight, which was really, really awesome. But you got to think about this, and it was a fully lit Jupiter, right? So like if you're thinking about it like a phases of the moon, it would have been a full moon Jupiter, right? And during the day. And so I'm thinking about this. That means it would have to be pretty close to on the opposite side of the sun in order to be fully lit according to us, right? And so at its nearest is 365 million miles. At its most distant, I think it's like hundreds of millions of miles. Yet the angular size doesn't change much of Jupiter, you know, throughout the course of its orbit, quote unquote. And so how the hell are we looking at Jupiter during the day, like say 500 million or even further, just hundreds of millions of miles away, not to mention through 90 million miles of asteroid belt, because again, Jupiter is essentially on the same plane as we are, with the naked eye, right? I mean, it's just crazy how, you know, people could have believed that Jupiter was, you know, hundreds of millions of miles away. Crazy.